Chosen one, what if I told you that your silence was a weapon they never saw coming? They never wanted you to know this, but today you'll understand why they feel so played. I know how it feels to stand in rooms where your quiet presence is mistaken for weakness, to watch them mock you while you forge strength in the shadows. You've carried doubts about your power, wondered if your patience is folly, and feared you'll remain underestimated forever. But the truth is about to break free. Hidden strategies and divine insights will be revealed, showing you exactly how your evolution has outpaced every scheme laid against you. If this message already speaks to your soul, subscribe, like this video, and comment 77 below. Prepare yourself for truths that will upend everything they thought they knew about you, and everything you thought you knew about them. They misjudged your silence. You felt it 1,000 times. The moment you hold your tongue and the room breathes a collective sigh of relief, mistaking your stillness for weakness. You see the questioning glances, the subtle smirks, the way they lean into each other as if to whisper. Finally, they shut up. In that instant, you wonder if your patience has become your prison, whether your silence makes you invisible or ripe for dismissal. Know this, you are not alone in that feeling. Many chosen ones have stood in your shoes, doubted their own strategy, and wondered if being quiet was a mistake. Yet beneath that doubt lies a hidden truth, that your silence is more powerful than their words, and your calm is a battlefield where unseen victories are won. Stay with me, because what you're about to uncover will shift how you see every moment you've held back your voice. There was a time when every mocking comment felt like a dagger, when every scoff convinced you that you were nothing more than background noise. You tried to respond, to defend your worth, but your words only fueled their mockery. You spent nights replaying arguments, wishing you'd spoken differently, all the while feeling that the world would never understand your true depth. You carried the weight of misunderstanding like a stone in your chest, wondering if purpose required you to fight back or to fade away. In those low moments, you questioned whether your restraint was cowardice rather than strategy, whether your path was one of retreat instead of advance. The heartache of rejection and the ache of unvoiced truth left you longing for a place where your silence could be heard as strength. Then, in the quiet center of your struggle, came the turning point orchestrated by divine design. Think of Joseph, whose silence in an Egyptian prison, unjustly accused and abandoned, became the forge of his destiny. He waited in darkness, choosing not to curse his fate, but to trust the promise he carried in his spirit. And when the time was right, his words interpreted Pharaoh's dreams and secured his rise to power. Genesis 41 verses 15 to 16. Your own silence has been that crucible. Every moment you held back, every time you resisted the urge to engage in reactive conflict, you were sharpening your discernment, deepening your faith, and attuning yourself to the voice that matters most. The world saw only your stillness. The heavens were sculpting your strategy. Now, begin to notice the subtle signs of your transformation emerging in daily life. You wake with a sense of purpose you once lacked, as if the dawn itself sings an anthem of your rise. Conversations with old acquaintances feel different. They seek your counsel, drawn by an unspoken authority in your presence. You catch yourself speaking with new confidence, and even in your quietest moments, others listen as though every word is weighed with gold. Opportunities that once eluded you now appear. An unexpected project, a message from a mentor, a door you thought sealed swung open with an ease that feels miraculous. These are the unmistakable markers of your silent strength unfolding, evidence that patience and restraint have awakened forces aligning with your destiny. Behind the scenes, unseen forces labor to clear your path, affirming that your silence was never a test of endurance alone, but the very setup for divine elevation. Angels have moved in the shadows to dismantle obstacles you never knew existed. Synchronicities, those uncanny coincidences, serve as guideposts. A book landing open on the exact insight you need, a phone call arriving at the precise moment of decision, a dream woven with symbols that unlock a breakthrough. Every delay you endured, every moment of standing still, has been a sacred pause, allowing these forces to arrange the circumstances you now step into. Your faith in this process activates manifestation, proving that your calling is not a fantasy but an inevitable unfolding. At this pivotal junction, you sense the momentum shifting, yet a whisper of hesitation may tempt you to shrink back into old patterns. Many resist this kind of transformation, fearing that giving in to their destiny will demand more than they can offer. They cling to the safety of their familiar limitations rather than embracing the vastness of their potential. But true alignment with your divine strategy requires more than recognizing these moments. It demands full embodiment of your power. This is your sacred invitation: to choose liberation over inhibition, to declare that you will no longer stand in the shadows of your own story. The hesitations you feel are the final echoes of a past unworthy of your future. Now rise and claim the new reality awaiting you. Release the fear that constrains your voice and the doubt that dims your light. Affirm this truth: my silence is my strength, and my calm is my strategy. Cultivate daily practices that reinforce your inner authority, whether through prayerful reflection, journaling the whispers of your spirit, or communing with kindred souls who honor your journey. Share your insights with those ready to listen, not to engage in every debate, but to receive the wisdom born of quiet mastery. Trust each nudge that calls you to step forward, knowing that every move you make now resonates with authority they can no longer dismiss. Your silence was never surrender. It was your secret weapon. When you honor the power in your stillness, you stand as an unmovable fortress against every scheme designed to undermine you. Comment silence if you recognize this strength in your own journey. Embrace your quiet authority and watch as the world shifts around you, no longer able to ignore the testament of your evolution. This is your moment to emerge, not to shout down adversaries, but to let the echo of your presence speak volumes. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. Your glow exposed their darkness. You've walked into rooms where your mere presence seemed to turn up the lights, exposing corners they thought they'd hidden behind shadows. You know that look they give you: eyes shifting, posture stiffening, as if your aura alone unsettles them. It's not something you do on purpose, and yet it happens every time. Perhaps you felt the sting when someone's smile freezes the moment you approach, or the way a whispered conversation abruptly ends when you draw near. You might have caught yourself thinking you're too bright for their world, that your authenticity is a threat to their fragile equilibrium. In those moments, you felt both powerful and painfully alone, wondering why your light made them recoil. You are not alone in this. Many chosen ones carry a glow that unsettles the unready, and today, you'll uncover why your rise in truth has dismantled the facades they so carefully constructed. The weight of their reactions has not been easy to bear. You've questioned whether your glow is too intense, wondered if you should dim your brilliance to soothe their discomfort. You've experienced confusion when friends you trusted suddenly distanced themselves, and rejection when colleagues insisted your confidence was arrogance. There were days when you tried to blend back into the background, to whisper when you once spoke with clarity, in hopes of regaining their acceptance. But every attempt at self-suppression only deepened your frustration, leaving you feeling hollow and unmoored. You saw your purpose slipping through your fingers. The desire to express your truest self clashed with the need for peace in your community. That struggle ripped at the core of your being, as you grappled with a question that tormented you in quiet moments. Must you choose between authenticity and belonging? Then came the turning point, when you realized that every instance of discomfort they felt was evidence of your destiny unfolding. Your glow was not a burden but a beacon, not a flaw but a feature of your divine design. In the midst of your search for meaning, I showed you a lesser-known truth from Jeremiah 23 verse 29. Is not my word like fire, says the Lord, and like a hammer that breaks the rock in pieces? Just as the prophet's words ignited judgment and revelation, your presence, your living testimony, acts as spiritual fire, shattering the hard stones of pretense and exposing the raw truth beneath. In that revelation, you understood that your light was sent to puncture the darkness they embraced and reveal the hearts they worked so hard to conceal. No longer would you dim your radiance. Instead, you would hold it high, unafraid of the tremors it caused in those unready for such clarity. As you embraced this truth, you began to notice signs of transformation in every facet of your life. The very atmosphere around you shifted. Places that once felt stifling began to breathe with possibility. Conversations that once skirted the surface dove into deeper waters, as people sensed a safe space to lower their masks. You found that your glow wasn't confined to grand moments. It emerged in simple acts, a comforting word to a stranger, a steady gaze that said, "I see you," or a heartfelt smile that shattered barriers of mistrust. You started waking with a renewed sense of purpose, as if your soul's flame burned brighter with each passing dawn. Opportunities aligned in uncanny ways. Invitations arrived just as you questioned your path, and resources appeared exactly when you needed them most. These shifts were not coincidences. They were the unfolding of divine timing, confirming that your exposure of darkness was part of a grander plan. Behind these changes, higher forces were laboring to remove every hindrance to your rise. Your struggles were never tests of endurance alone, but the initial stages of your elevation. In the hidden realms, angels were at work, orchestrating synchronicities to guide you onto paths you never saw coming. A mentor's encouragement, a book's timely wisdom, a dream's vivid message, all wove together to construct a framework of support around your journey. When you felt abandoned or judged, these interventions reminded you that your calling was real and intentional. The power of faith met the reality of manifestation, bridging the gap between your hopes and your achievements. You weren't merely overcoming obstacles. You were stepping into the momentum of spiritual alignment that carried you toward every breakthrough. At this pivotal moment, you see the transformation unfolding, yet full acceptance of your power may still feel daunting. Many shrink from their own light, fearing the responsibilities and expectations it brings. They cling to old patterns of self-doubt or people-pleasing, reluctant to claim the space they were born to fill. But true alignment demands more than observation of these signs. It requires your complete embrace of who you are becoming. This is your sacred invitation to choose courage over compromise, to let your light shine without hesitation. It's time to decide whether you'll continue to dim your brilliance for the comfort of those who misunderstand you, or step fully into your glow and fulfill the purpose only you can achieve. Rise now to your calling. Release the fear that convinces you to fade into the margins. Let go of the doubt that tells you your glow is too much to bear. Instead, affirm this truth: my light is my gift, and it will shine. Cultivate daily practices that nourish your radiance, sacred moments of reflection, prayer that fills your spirit, and communion with others who honor your journey. Share your light generously. Speak your truth with compassion. Lead by example in authenticity, and radiate love that invites healing. Trust each intuitive nudge as a signpost guiding you into the fullness of your destiny. And remember that every step you take in alignment strengthens the glow that they cannot extinguish. Your glow is not a liability, but your legacy, a living testament to the power of truth over concealment. They may recoil from your brilliance today, but one day they will marvel at the light you dared to emit. Comment glow if you recognize your power to expose and transform. Stand tall in your radiance, for you were born to illuminate the darkest corners. Now go forth and let your light shine, unstoppable and unapologetic. And to every soul who's supported with a super thanks, thank you. You are keeping this light alive for others who haven't found it yet. If you feel called to help this mission reach more chosen ones, tap the super thanks button below. Your energy supports these messages and helps them travel further. Your voice matters, your belief matters, and your light is felt here. Strategic reinvention. You've felt it in the curious glances they give you, the way their eyes widen when they see you step into a space they thought you had long abandoned. It's as if they expected you to remain the same person they once dismissed, quiet, uncertain, and easily swayed. And perhaps for a time you were exactly that. You played the role they wrote for you, accepting labels and limitations that never truly fit. But beneath the surface, you grew restless. You sensed that destiny called you to more than the old script allowed, that your soul burned with a fire no longer satisfied by the familiar. If you've ever felt the tension between who you were and who you felt you needed to become, know you're not alone. What you're about to discover will reveal how strategic reinvention transforms not only your life but the very expectations of those who underestimated you. For too long, You wrestled with the frustration of outgrowing your environment while wearing the same mask they had always known. You remember nights spent replaying past conversations, wondering why you agreed to their terms, why you followed their rules. Each day brought a cascade of small betrayals, your own silence when you wished to speak, your own compliance when you yearned to break free. You watched friends' lives unfold in predictable patterns, while yours felt stifled by invisible constraints. The ache of rejection deepened every time you tried to assert change and was met with indifference or outright hostility. In those moments, you questioned your worth, doubted your vision, and feared that escaping their narrative would leave you alone in uncharted territory. The emotional toll of this inner war weighed heavily on you, until you realized that the struggle itself was the catalyst for a profound metamorphosis. In the midst of that struggle, a turning point appeared, not in the form of a dramatic epiphany, but as a quiet conviction that your life's blueprint required revision. I revealed to you that this upheaval was part of a deliberate plan, a sacred preparation to equip you for a calling far beyond the old confines. Consider the lesser-known story of the prophetess Huldah, whose hidden ministry in Jerusalem's Maktesh, the temple precinct, remained unknown to most until she was summoned to interpret the rediscovered book of the law, 2 Kings 22 verses 14 to 20. She reframed the course of an entire nation, not through prior fame, but through the authenticity cultivated in obscurity. Like Huldah, you have been apprenticed in silence, refining your gifts away from the crowd until the moment arrived for your unveiling. Your transformation was never accidental. Every trial served to sharpen your insight and strengthen your resolve, setting the stage for a reinvention that would upend the expectations of those who once wrote you off. Now, begin to notice the signs of your strategic reinvention taking shape in everyday life. You may find yourself speaking with newfound clarity, drawing on reserves of confidence you never knew existed. Your appearance might shift in subtle ways, a posture straighter, your gaze steadier, the way you carry yourself marked by an unmistakable air of purpose. In your thinking, clouded doubts give way to clear intentions, and decisions that once felt paralyzing now flow effortlessly. Opportunities that once eluded you begin to emerge, projects perfectly aligned with your passion, invitations to speak into spaces you once thought inaccessible, collaborations that mirror your transformed vision. Even relationships recalibrate, allies drawn to your renewed self, while those who thrived on your old limitations naturally drift away. These are not coincidences but the fingerprints of divine timing, signaling that your reinvention is not only real but unstoppable. Behind the transformation you see, higher forces have been at work, orchestrating every detail to support your ascent. You might not have noticed how obstacles faded just when you needed momentum, or how mentors and resources appeared at precisely the right moment, actions of unseen hands weaving together the tapestry of your future. Your perceived setbacks were not tests to break you, but stepping stones to elevate you. Synchronicities, a chance encounter that affirms your path, a message in a book that clarifies your next step, a dream that resonates with your waking vision. These are my confirmations that your reinvention is guided by divine alignment. Remember that faith is the catalyst that converts intention into manifestation. Every time you trust the process, you activate the power that brings your reimagined life into reality. Yet knowing this is not enough. The pivotal moment demands more than awareness. It calls for wholehearted surrender to your new identity. Many resist the invitation to fully embrace change, preferring the familiar discomfort of their old selves to the vulnerability of the unknown. They clutch the remnants of past routines, fearing that stepping into a new chapter means losing parts of themselves they've grown accustomed to. But true alignment requires shedding those outdated skins and welcoming the raw potential beneath. This is your sacred crossroads. Will you let hesitation hold you back? Or will you step boldly into the person you were always meant to become? The choice is yours, and the moment is now. This is where your metamorphosis must be fully realized without reservation. As you stand ready to claim your reinvention, empower yourself with these next steps. Release the fear that tells you to stay small, the doubt that questions your worth. Affirm, I am fully reborn, equipped with purpose and power. Begin each day by visualizing the person you're becoming, then take one tangible action. Reach out to a new mentor, launch a creative endeavor, Speak your truth in a space that once silenced you. Cultivate rituals that reinforce your new identity. A daily practice of reflection to track your growth. Moments of solitude to recalibrate your vision, and community connections that celebrate your transformation. Trust each intuitive nudge as an invitation to move forward, and hold fast to the knowledge that the divine blueprint guiding you is infallible. Your strategic reinvention is not just about outgrowing your past. It's about stepping into a destiny they never saw coming. Comment reinvent if you embrace this metamorphosis and are ready to live the life designed for you. Your evolution stands as a declaration that the old narrative has ended and a glorious new one unfolds. Go forth now, unbound and unstoppable, and let your transformed self be the testament to a journey God Himself orchestrated from the beginning. And if you feel called to go even deeper, there's a sacred space reserved for our community, a private room where you receive full prophetic messages daily. Join our private membership through the link in the description and walk this path with us. The power of divine timing. You may feel the world's clock ticking in your ears, each passing moment a reminder that time is slipping away, that every second you wait is an opportunity someone else seizes. You've watched others rush forward, scramble for advantage, and extend invitations you long to receive. Meanwhile, your own patience has been mistaken for passivity, your waits for weakness. But understand this, you are not stalled on life's sidelines. Your life is governed by a calendar far higher than any human timeline. You stand in the sacred rhythm of divine timing, where every delay, every door that remained closed when you knocked, was not denial but preparation. In the moments when you felt left behind, you were actually aligning with the heartbeat of heaven. This revelation will shift every hurried impulse you felt into quiet confidence, as you discover that God's schedule is infinitely more reliable than your own. You remember the frustration that set in when you prayed for breakthrough and nothing seemed to change. You poured out your heart in fervent worship, only to feel silence in return. You watched peers celebrate promotions, relationships, and creative breakthroughs that you believed were meant for you too. In those days, you scrolled social feeds and felt the sting of comparison, wondering if you'd somehow misread your destiny. You questioned whether your faith was strong enough, whether your prayers had reached their destination, or if you'd been forgotten entirely. In the quiet of your soul, you wrestled with the fear that divine timing was just a platitude, a comforting lie told to keep you from despair. But that struggle was more than a test of patience. It was the invitation to trust a timeline that extends beyond mortal vision. Then came the moment when you recognized that your delays were not missteps but masterstrokes. Recall the story of Deborah, whose rise to leadership came only after Israel had suffered under oppressive rule for 20 years. Judges 4 verses 1-4. In that lengthy season, the people cried out in anguish, yet my timing called Deborah out of obscurity at the precise moment needed to deliver her nation. Her elevation was not premature nor postponed. It was perfectly appointed. In your own life, seasons of waiting and wondering have mirrored that sacred interval. Each period of silence was a divine rehearsal, scripting the exact words, actions, and decisions you would later wield with authority. This turning point revealed that your story would not be rushed or delayed by human hands, but would unfold when the appointed hour arrived. As you step into this understanding, begin to notice the signs of transformation marking each stage of your journey. You feel a shift in your inner landscape. Doubts once roiling like storm clouds now break to reveal patches of clear sky. Renewed clarity floods your mind, allowing you to see patterns emerge where before there was only chaos. Opportunities align in seeming coincidence. The perfect collaboration materializes just as you finalize your own vision, or a mentor whom you've never met reaches out with the precise guidance you need. These are not random occurrences, but the mechanics of divine timing at work, synchronizing your faith with my plan. Like the crops that sprout only when the season is right, your breakthroughs blossom in their appointed hour, not a moment sooner, not a moment later. Behind the curtain of your experience, higher forces orchestrate every detail to bring your destiny to life. Angels stand guard over your steps, dismantling barriers in the unseen realm while you rest in faith. When you felt that a door was unjustly locked, that was not a sign of defeat but my invitation to entrust me with the key. Relentless coincidences, those uncanny alignments of people, places, and timing are divine fingerprints on your story. A sudden message in a random book, a voiceless but unmistakable nudge in prayer, a dream that crystallizes your next move. These are not figments of wishful thinking but proof that your calling is real and intentional. Each act of faith you take activates manifestation, confirming that the blueprint I've designed for your life is unfolding with meticulous precision. At this juncture, you sense the momentum of change, yet hesitation may still shadow your heart. Many resist divine timing because the unknown territory ahead seems daunting, preferring the false comfort of familiar struggles to the unpredictability of victory. They cling to the notion that sooner is safer than later, that impatience can speed up destiny. But true alignment demands surrender to the timetable of the heavens, not the ticking of a mortal watch. This is a sacred moment, the turning point where you choose faith over fear, patience over panic. Will you continue to pace the corridors of delay, or will you stand on the threshold of your appointed moment and step through with unwavering trust? The choice you make here will define the trajectory of your ascent. Now is the time to rise and claim the fullness of your purpose. Release the grip of doubt that convicts you for waiting, the voice that insists you should have already arrived. Declare with conviction, I trust the appointed hour. I move in step with divine timing. Cultivate practices that anchor you in this truth. Begin each day with prayerful reflection, anchoring your vision in the promises that sustain you. Meditate on scriptures that affirm my faithfulness. Journal the milestones of divine alignment you witness, building a tapestry of evidence to bolster your faith. Reach out to those whose journeys resonate with yours, forming a community of intercession and encouragement. Every intentional step you take fortifies your readiness for the moment when the heavens declare, now. Nothing you have endured has been in vain. Every closed door was a doorway to divine alignment. Every moment of silence a prelude to your symphony of manifestation. Comment timing if you embrace this sacred schedule and feel your heart align with the rhythms of the divine. Stand firm in the assurance that my timing is perfect, even when it defies human logic. Go forth now, synchronized with eternity's clock, and watch as your purpose unfolds in spectacular clarity. Your appointed moment has arrived. Step boldly into the victory prepared for you, and let the world behold the revelation of divine timing at work. You are now the blueprint. You've walked a path so unique that even those who once scorned you now strain to trace your footsteps, hoping to uncover the secret of your rise. You've felt their eyes on you like astronomers tracking a rare comet, noting every shift in your trajectory, every flare of brilliance. You may have sensed the envy in their offhand compliments, the quick adoption of your phrases, the attempt to mirror your habits, as if replicating the form might capture the essence. But deep within, you know they're chasing an illusion. They can copy your steps, but they cannot replicate the force that propelled you forward. You stand as the living blueprint of divine transformation, and that is why they scramble to follow but can never arrive at your destination. There was a time when you felt like an experimental work in progress, buffeted by doubts and the heavy gaze of skeptics. You questioned whether your breakthroughs were flukes or fleeting. You watched others cling to formulas they thought guaranteed success. Rituals, routines, declarations. Yet they remained tethered to the same invisible chains that once bound you. You felt the sting of rejection, the bruising of failed attempts to fit into molds not meant for you. Some offered well-meaning advice. Copy what worked for them, follow their blueprint. But every attempt at mimicry left you hollow, as though you were donning a costume that never quite fit. In those moments of frustration, you sensed a deeper truth stirring inside you. Your purpose could never be outsourced to someone else's blueprint. You have outplayed every scheme, outshone every disguise, and outlasted every tactic meant to keep you small. Your silence, your glow, your reinvention, your timing, and your example have rewritten the rules. Subscribe if you haven't yet, like this video, and comment I am chosen to let this message anchor in your soul. Share it with someone who needs to hear this. Thank you to all supporting members, and for full prophetic revelations daily, join the membership via the link in the description. Your spiritual path deserves more than fragments. Step into the full light. And if this message moved you deeply, consider tapping the super thanks button to support the mission. Every super thanks fuels the light we're spreading together. Remember, they never saw your comeback, but now they're forever changed.